All right, hello. Guess what time it is? It is time for Save Your Health Sunday with the Health Engineer. And today, well, I'm actually doing it Saturday, as you can see. so, technically, Save Your Health Saturday, but it's Save Your Health Sunday because these are normally on Sunday. And this is a special Easter edition. We're going to talk about protein. We're going to talk about these guys and what it takes to build these guys and sustain them and maintain them and keep you healthy while you're doing so. That's right. I'm bringing out the good show because we're talking about protein today. So, I figured I'd show you what protein looks like in all different forms. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started here, get rolling. And thank you for joining me here. So, let's talk about protein and what protein is. All right, so because there's a lot of stuff going on about what a good protein is, what a bad protein is. Certain proteins are going to kill you. Certain proteins are going to do good for you. What's good? What's bad? All that stuff. How much to take? If you take too much, you're going to kill your kidneys and all that fun stuff. So I thought I'd shed some light on a lot of this stuff because, well, there's a whole lot of misconceptions about protein out there, and you really need to know what they are. Especially since tomorrow you're going to be out hunting Easter eggs. Hopefully the real Easter eggs and not the little Cadbury sugar things. Or the Peeps. Don't have the Peeps, please. So we're going to talk about protein today and take care of all this stuff. So let's start off with number one, protein. Protein is actually, the breakdown of the word is prime nutrient. Okay? Prime nutrient. That means number one, top nutrient. You have to have it. If you don't have it, you can't survive. All right? You can survive without carbohydrates. Okay, we'll talk about the whole ketogenesis, ketone thing. All right, you can survive without carbohydrates. Yeah, you can survive without fats as well. Okay, these are two things your body can actually manufacture on its own for the most part. You can do a whole lot better without carbohydrates than you can do without fats. Okay, from a sustainability standpoint. I'm not saying from a performance standpoint. That's a whole nother thing. So, as you learned last week on the post-workout side of stuff, all right, you got to have some carbs if you want to sustain and subsist for very long. Anyway, so protein you got to have, and especially specific amino acids you have to have. Otherwise, life will end and health will end very quickly. Jurassic Park. Did you ever watch that? The main limiting factor in Jurassic Park that they were dealing with was lysine, a lysine deficiency. Okay, so they genetically made these dinosaurs to where if they didn't get lysine, they were going to die, all right? Kind of the same thing happens to you, all right, to some degree, okay? So we're going to get into the whole amino acid thing here in a little bit, talking about the whole branch chains and essential and not essential, all that stuff. So bear with me, it's coming. But here's the main thing that you have to realize. Prime nutrient. You must have it. You know why? Because it makes this stuff. You see all this lovely, gorgeous hair on top of this head that will eventually be gone? Yeah, that's right, I'm shaving it, sorry. At some point here. This is all protein. Skin, okay? The skin you live in, all protein. The nails, all right, which I need to clip mine. All protein. So all the hair, skin, nail stuff, ladies, if you want beautiful hair, skin, and nails, guess what you need? You need to have some protein. Biotin's great and all. B vitamins are great and all, okay? You got to have those things to utilize protein. We covered that in micronutrients, if you go back several episodes of this. But you got to have the protein to actually build it, because if you are deficient in protein, guess what happens to your hair? It gets stringy, it breaks, it looks bad. All right, what happens to your nails? They get stringy, they break, they look bad. What happens to your skin? It gets stringy, it breaks, it looks bad. All right? So, yeah, you got to have protein for those things, all right? Not just for these guys, all right? You got to have it for everything. It covers them, all right? So you need it for that. And we'll get into some more reasons why you need protein coming up here. Oh, speaking of, let me get myself logged in here so I can see myself work and so I can see who's logging in and say hi and all that fun stuff. Because there will be, if you come back and watch this again, I will be posting some pictures down here below for your viewing pleasure. All right, there we go. I'm on. I can see everything now. Sorry, I was somewhat lost there. Hey, David, how you doing? Love the wheelies. Keep popping them. Okay, so here we go. So protein, prime nutrient. A couple of questions you got to ask yourself, okay, before we get into this whole protein thing and how much to take and what to take and all that, because there's a lot of let's cover with that. So first off, health goals. Okay, what are your health goals? This is before we even get to the whole working out and going here and just, all that fun stuff. Okay, before you start doing these, all right, what are your health goals long term? Okay, so the whole 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, what do you want to be doing? All right, where do you want to be? What do you want your life to look like? This has to be taken into consideration. Okay, when we're looking at protein, and you'll know why here in a little bit. Your fitness goals. What kind of fitness goals do you have? All right. Are you running marathons? Are you powerlifting? Are you trying to get up on a stage? Are you parasailing? Are you riding? Are you racing motorcycles? Okay. What do you have going on? What are you doing? What are your goals, fitness-wise, that need to be attained right now? Oh yeah. Also back to the health goals. How healthy do you want to be? Do you want to be sick all the time? If not, you need to have your protein. All right. All the bone broth stuff that's out there, you know why it's so popular? Protein. So fitness goals, workout goals. What kind of workouts are you doing? That's going to determine how much protein you're going to need, all right, going in. Because the more you're working, the more you break these down, the more protein you need to have going in to rebuild and repair, all right? Are you an ectomorph? Are you an endomorph? Are you mesomorph? So ectomorph, if you're like me and it's really, really tough to put on weight, guess what? You're going to have to crank them out, okay? If you're an endomorph, a big guy, you have a tough time taking off, guess what? The amount has to go up too, because you're going to need more of that than definitely carbohydrates and sugars, all right? If you're a mesomorph and you're one of those lucky genetic freaks that I've tried to turn myself into, you guys, well, you look at protein, you get muscular and awesome and lean and cut, and we hate you, but we love you, okay? Keep it up. It's gonna be a running joke. Sorry, people. You mesomorphs, I love you. Whenever you're watching all these fitness competitions and you're watching like the CrossFit Games and stuff like that, 3/4 of those people are these freakish mesomorphs that just make everything look awesomely awesome. Okay, not so much easy, but awesomely awesome. So there's that. Allergies. Do you have allergies? Okay, what kind of allergies do you have? Because one thing with proteins are actually a base cause of allergies. All right, so everything has proteins in it. Okay, so pollen has specific proteins in it for the different types of pollens. Okay, mountain cedar is my nemesis. All right, it's my kryptonite. So the proteins that are present there in that pollen structure set my allergies off, or at least they used to anyway. They don't anymore, but because I've learned how to manage those things very, very well. Probably due to protein intake, probably due to micronutrient, really because of micronutrient intake. Seriously, major help there. So if you want to get over allergies, you need to know what proteins actually set you off, what proteins you're allergic to, what proteins actually turn on, genetic. Basically flip on genetic switches that make your body go haywire. Okay, you have to know what those are. If you want to know how to do that, Everlywell. Okay, go to my website, clintfuqua.com. Go to Everlywell on the products page. Seriously, get their food allergy test. Okay, food sensitivity test. Get that if you want to know what foods you're sensitive to because of protein structures. All right, it's life-saving. Eventually, at some point. And really true, it's life-saving because you'll actually be able to live. And if you want to get over those, contact me. We'll talk about the whole micronutrient side of that to get you over that. The other thing is sourcing. Okay, should you eat vegetable proteins? Should you eat meat proteins? Which one's better? Which one's worse? All that stuff. Don't worry, it's coming. We're going to get to it. So these all should be taken into account before we even get into this whole protein discussion. Okay. And then, what is protein? Chicken, fish, peas, okay? They all have proteins in them. They also have, we're going to backtrack a little bit to what actually makes a protein. So, you have these things called amino acids, okay? There's essential amino acids, there's non-essential, there's branched chain amino acids. All the workout people know what branched chain amino acids are, hopefully. You better, you should. So amino acids are the building blocks, okay? Literally, they're Legos. Okay, we're gonna go Lego town here, okay? Each one of these things is a Lego. It's a piece of Lego. It's got a different color, it's got a different little structure to it. They're all Legos, all right? These Legos get put together, stacked together, and you get what are called peptides and polypeptides, okay? So if you've ever seen creatine, okay, creatine is a peptide. Glutamine technically is a peptide because it's formed by branched amino acids in your system and glutamic acid. You have polypeptides, so you have stuff like growth hormone, okay? Growth hormone is actually an amino acid strand. It's a polypeptide, okay? And I'll have a picture down here, really cool. So I talk about Legos because you stack these things. Well, technically they link and they do this stuff. They turn into like this cool 3D globular matrix ball looking thing. They're really, really awesome looking, okay? They have a full 3D structure is what happens with a protein. And then whenever you start breaking a protein down into these polypeptides, it starts breaking off into smaller bundles until you break it all the way down to amino acids to be rebuilt into something else, okay? Like I said, Legos. Your body's playing with Legos here, okay? These are the building blocks of everything. Let me repeat, the building blocks of everything, okay? Including your bones. So you have amino acids, you smash them together, you get some polypeptides, which are great for building and turning into stuff, and then you have whole proteins, which are, you know, hair, skin, nails, muscles, all that stuff, all that cool stuff. So that's how that thing works, okay? Whether it's coming from a vegetable source or a meat source, okay, or somewhere in between. That's how it all breaks down. Now, there's some differentiation in that. We'll talk about those in a little bit because of polypeptide bundles and strands and stuff, because they're completely different between vegetable sourcing and meat sourcing, or even dairy sourcing, okay? Whole different ball of wax. Two different worlds, all right? If you didn't know, we, people, are omnivores. We're made to eat everything. We have a digestive tract for eating everything, specifically meats, because we're acid-based, okay? Unlike most animals, which are not. You're not a monkey, you're a monkey's uncle, all right? Or an elephant, or a panda, or anything else along those lines, all right? Quit comparing yourself to such. Making yourself look like an ass. Sorry, animal humor. All right, so there's that. And whenever you start looking at proteins, you need to look at micronutrients that have to go in for your body to actually utilize these things. So we're talking B vitamins. Must have B vitamins, specifically methyl B vitamins, all right? Have to be taken into account. Vitamin A has to be taken into account. Vitamin C has to be taken into account. Vitamin D has to be taken into account. Phytonutrients have to be taken into account, okay? That's why you need to have a little bit of carbohydrate with your proteins, okay? Or a carbohydrate source, a fruit, a vegetable, something like that, to help out with the utilization and breakdown of these things, all right? Trojan horses, we're going to talk about Trojan horses in just the protein world, okay? Because that's a whole story into itself. We'll get into that when we get to the supplements in a little bit. pH balance, okay? If your pH balance in your stomach is off, you can't digest these things. Have you ever heard of leaky gut? Okay, that's what leaky gut is. Your body is taking in whole protein sources, okay? You've got whole little bits of proteins floating around your system. I've seen it in my system before, okay? It's freaky. I did a live blood test with Blake over at Ozone Purity, and we're looking around. He's like, "Man, your blood is nice and clean, except for you got some random proteins floating around in here, and they're undigested." Well, you know why I was having allergy issues? Ta-da! Fix that. Anyway, so yeah, pH balance is huge. So if you don't have enough acid in your stomach to break down proteins, guess what? You can't break them down. They still get taken into your system, and they wreak havoc on your body. All right. We don't want that. Nootropics, well, technically, there's a lot of amino acids that are very nootropic, okay? Taurine, Red Bull gives you wings, that whole thing, because of the taurine that's in it. Taurine is highly bioavailable and neuroactive, all right? As are a lot of several other amino acids. Glutamine, for instance. Glutamine is used everywhere, okay? pre-workout, post-workout, protein on both sides of that, intra-workout, proteins there, amino acids, polypeptides, all that stuff. That's why we have all these pre-workout and post-workout blends, okay? Because there's certain amino acids and polypeptides and stuff that need to go in before workout and during the workout and after workout, so you survive the workout and you thrive through it and you do very, very well and you are successful in the workout and you stay healthy instead of getting beat up like you're getting dragged off of a fight. We don't want that, okay? We want a nice, easy, nice, even, smooth flight, okay? We don't want you getting dragged off of there and beat. Yeah, sorry, I know. Somebody's going to say, too soon, man. It's topical. Come on, roll with it. Roll with the punches. So, there's that. So, all those things have to be taken into consideration, all right? Now, what do proteins do? I already talked about, muscles, hair, nails, tendon structures, okay? So if you're deficient in protein, guess what happens to your tendons and your ligaments? They can't be made again, okay? Or at least not very strong. Why? Because they are essentially, well, they're keratinized protein. They're like your nails, okay? Just slightly more flexible, all right? Same stuff, okay? There's just, different constituents in these things, all right? But they're all protein, all right? And so once again, I'm telling you, you need it. Immune function, okay? Your entire immune system is all proteins. All of your immune system, all your immune cells, okay? Your white blood cells, all these things, they're all proteins. They're all protein-based. They have little proteins on the outside of them. They're looking around, feeling around, seeing what's around them, communicating back and forth, okay? So if you're deficient or you're taking in bad sources of proteins, guess what happens to your immune system? It starts to go dysfunctional because you're not giving it what it needs, okay? Specifically, glutamine, it's huge for that. Branched chain amino acids, huge for that. Lysine, huge for that, okay? So these things have to be taken into account just for immune function, immune health, all right? Cysteine, individual cysteine, oh my God, man. If you got immune function issues, sorry, it blanked out. So, N-acetyl cysteine, if you're having immune function issues or liver health issues, major must-have, okay? Oh yeah, by the way, your liver has to do all the processing of all this stuff, just so you know. And your kidneys too, to some degree. So, immune function is huge on that. If you're taking in bad sourcing of the wrong stuff, okay, it will mess your world up. Blood and hormones, okay, we talked about growth hormone. Growth hormone itself is just a big strand of amino acids, all right? So if you're deficient, it's because you're not putting out enough, or you don't have the right constituents going in to produce it. Don't worry, we're talking about that later. I had to take a drink. So I've worked out, as you can see. So we have that. Also, fibrinogen, things like that. Things that actually cause clotting in your blood, or your clotting factors, guess what those are? They're all proteins. They're all protein-based, all right? Which means you've got to have good sources of proteins, so your blood can actually clot like it's supposed to, and having the right amount of vitamin K and the right sourcing of vitamin K, by the way. If you didn't know, I wrote a book about vitamin K. It's on my website. Seriously, you got to read it. I talk about Popeye and vampires and hot messes of chickens. It's a great read. It's hilarious. But we talk about all these clotting factors and vitamin K and how it works in your system for both blood clotting and building good, strong, healthy bones and utilization of protein. Awesome book. Suggest you get it. It's on Amazon. So we have that. Then we have genes. What are your genes made out of? They're made out of amino acids. That's right. Your DNA is one big, long strand of amino acids. RNA. All RNA transcriptions for rebuilding your DNA and doing DNA transcription, everything else within the cells. Don't worry, I'm going to have a cool picture down below for you to come back. I suggest you come back and watch this again, by the way. But all that stuff, guess what? It's all proteins. Okay, so you got to have the right stuff going in from the right sources. All right, this way all this stuff works very, very well and works towards your health and better health and a longer, better life. Okay, so once again, it's the prime nutrient because everything is made out of it, from your DNA outward, everything. Okay. Um, can you tell how serious this whole thing is? So, all right, there's that. So that's that thing. Seriously, there's gonna be some cool pictures down below. Come back, rewatch this and with the pictures because it's gonna be cool. I would do it now, but it didn't work very well for some reason. I don't know. So that. So sourcing. What's the best source? All right. So many people are gonna be saying vegan sources are best. Well, hold on. Meat source is the only one. Well, hold on. You're both right and you're both wrong. All right. So let's talk about blood right quick. So blood typing. Okay. If you haven't read Eat Right for Your Blood Type, I suggest you read it. Okay. Why? Because it works on the antigen theory within your blood. Okay. I know. Sorry, science talk, but everybody has certain antigens in their blood. That's why they do the whole blood testing to make sure that you can match blood. Because if you got type O blood and they put type A blood in you for transfusion, what's going to happen? Nurses, really bad stuff's going to happen. It's going to mess your world up. All right. So type O goes to type O. Type A goes to type A. Actually, type O can go anywhere. Why? Because it's the oldest. It's it works for everybody. But type A, type AB, type B, you guys can't go into a type O. You mess our world up. Okay, because of antigens. All right, immune factors, essentially. And it also means that people with type O blood and people with type B and type AB and type B and type A all metabolize things a little bit differently, especially when it comes to protein. So all the vegan people out there, vegetarians, okay, I'm talking to you right now. If you got type A or type AB or type B, you're going to do pretty well. If you've got type A blood and you're going vegan vegetarian, you're going to do great. Make sure you're getting your B vitamins from methylated sources, please. Seriously, you need them, especially in methyl B6. Okay, methylfolate. Seriously, you got to have it. So, and same thing with type for everybody. Seriously, just get methylfolate. Just remember that. 5-methylfolate specifically. Okay, so type O. If you're type O and you try doing a vegan vegetarian diet, I'm sorry, you're going to fail miserably because your body cannot handle that. You can do it for a little bit, okay? You may feel great for a week or two. Why? Because you're cleansing your system, all right? But after that cleanse is over, your body's going to need something to start building off of, and it can't do it with that. It just cannot, okay? So you can go from feeling great to feeling bad. If you're type A, you're going to feel great for about 2 years, and then you're going to start getting a little bit off, all right? And that's whenever you start saying, well, maybe I'll eat some eggs, okay? Easter's coming up. Have some. Soft boiled is the best, by the way. Yeah, that way you don't ruin the yolk. The yolk is gold. It's nutritional gold. A lot of protein in the yolk, by the way. So yeah, that's the whole thing with the blood, okay? So whenever we're talking about sourcing, we also have to look at your sourcing, okay? What's going to be best for you specifically? So yeah, just so you know, it's different. You're all different. If you didn't know that, you're all different. Everybody's a little bit different in how they function, what they need. So we have that. So sourcing, okay? Let's go through all the hit words out there. Everything's being hashtagged right now, okay? So we got cage free, we've got free range, we got fresh caught, we got grass fed, gluten free, organic, hormone free. All these things. You know why all this marketing is going on? Because it comes down to sourcing. It's making sure you're getting good sourcing. Okay. So let's talk about steak right quick. Before we get into the eggs. Okay. The eggs are coming, and then the vegetable sources are coming too. Get ready. So we're looking at meats. We've got 2 steaks, okay? You've got this grass-fed steak sitting here, or you've got this other steak sitting here that's been grain-fed, okay? 2 different cows. And literally, 2 different cows. These are 2 completely different steaks. The only thing that's similar between them is the fact that they're both called steak. That's where the similarities end. Seriously, they're 2 completely different things, okay? This grass-fed steak over here, this thing is going to be very, very lean, okay? There's going to be no gluten constituent in it, okay? Actually, let's talk about this grain-fed steak right quick, because everybody loves to eat these things because they're nice and sweet and tasty and juicy and plump, and they got all kinds of marbling, and they grill well, etc., okay? The reason why we've had these things is because you can get more fat and water put into them, okay? They weigh more, which means what? The guy selling the cow makes a lot more money, all right? Well, here's the problem with these things. Cows don't really do well with grains, okay? They're big moving lawnmowers. They're big moving lawnmowers is what they are, okay? They walk around, they eat grass, they eat shrubs, they eat all kinds of green stuff, okay? They manicure the landscape, they tromp down the landscape, they do great things for the landscape, okay? If you want a great landscaper, get you a cow and a goat. Okay? So, but that's what they're supposed to do. Same thing with bison, buffalo, all that stuff, okay? They're not supposed to be sitting in a cage eating soy and grains all day. It gets them big and fat. Same thing happens to you, by the way, when you do that. So, but they put on all this weight. They get sold at market for a whole lot of money. Then they just put on your plate. And guess what? If somebody has gluten sensitivities, if you're eating one of these steaks that is grain-fed, guess what you have in that? You've got gluten constituents in that grain. Oh my God. Guess what else you have? You also have hormone constituents in there because most of their feeds has hormones already put into it and all kinds of other stuff, okay, to try and keep these cows from falling out and getting sick because you're giving them a really bad diet, no exercise. What happens when you have a bad diet and no exercise? Oh, what's that? You get fat and sick. Okay, so same thing happens to the cows, all right? Okay, have I told you why you don't need to have this steak and why everybody has been hating on steak and meat and all that stuff? Because a lot of the stuff out there is trash. So trash it, toss it. Let's talk about this guy. So back to the grass-fed steak, okay? This cow's been out, roaming around, roaming the countryside, doing lawn manicuring services, okay? And eating grass and shrubs and all the stuff that the cow's supposed to be eating, okay? This way it's not burping out tons of extra CO2 and all kinds of stuff and heating up the environment like everybody talks about, okay? It's the burps, not the farts, people. It's the burps. Learn some physiology. So we have this grass-fed steak. Guess what? There's no gluten constituent there. Okay? It's very, very lean. It's got a lot of CLA. CLA actually helps you burn fat. There's a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, okay, as much as salmon. All right? So you have a land-bound salmon right there. All right? Salmon steak, steak. All right? Bison steak, even better. Okay, so you have this thing. It's not as sweet. It's a little bit leaner. It's a little more gamey. Okay, but when we start eating it for a while, guess what? It's going to taste really good to you. In fact, you're going to get to where you get addicted to it because it's so good and so healthy in your bodies. You want you to soak it up. All right. Oh yeah. By the way, whenever you have a steak, if you cook that thing past medium rare, get out. Sorry, Texas joke. So you want to sear the outside. You want the inside just heated, okay, to kill off anything that might be in there. But you want to keep all the enzymes and everything bound and intact. You don't want to completely destroy the protein source because heat destroys protein. If you didn't know that, okay, fire good, but fire roast protein and destroy it, and it's bad for you, okay? So fire, eat, not fire. And then fire. And then fire. And then fire, and then you have this chunk of coal that's going to eventually kill you, okay? Don't destroy the meat. Love the meat. Eat the meat. So there's that. There's this grass-fed thing. It's going to make you very, very healthy, okay? You're not going to have all the digestive issues. You're not going to need to eat as much of it, okay? A little 8-ounce steak over here is going to be like eating a big 16-ounce, grain-fed thing over here, okay? So guess what? You're not going to need as much. It's not going to cost as much. How about that? So there's the steak thing, okay? Same thing on the chickens, okay? Chickens are birds of prey. They're supposed to be out there roaming around, hunting and pecking, eating worms and all kinds of stuff. And that way, they're good for you, okay? Once again, if they're just sitting in a cage eating grains, what's going to happen? They get fat and sick, okay? They're pumped full of antibiotics and all that crap goes into you and messes with your system, right? All right, so sourcing counts. Eggs, same thing, okay? You want free-range eggs. Why? Because free-range are fun. You got to chase them. They run around. Free-range eggs? Come on. You're doing an Easter egg hunt tomorrow. Laugh with me. Okay, so there's that. Vegan sources. Here's the thing on the vegan sources of protein. First off, they're all incomplete. You got to eat multiple different vegetable sources to get an actual real complete protein, all right? We'll talk about that on the supplement side here in a little bit. The whole beans and rice thing, okay? Having to do, you got to mix beans and rice so you can get a complete protein. Yeah, that's a real thing. The problem is it's not actually really a complete protein. You just have more amino acids there in a pool. which takes away from this whole polypeptide thing that you need, because there's polypeptides in those chickens, in those eggs, in those steaks that you can't get from vegetable sources. You can't. Seriously, period. You can't. That's like trying to get blueberry extract out of a cow. You can't do it. You got to have both. All right. You do. So here's the big thing with vegetable sources: heavy metals. Okay, not this kind of heavy metal. No, I'm talking about the heavy metals that will kill you. Is an issue with vegetable sources. Why? Because of what's in the soil. So if you have heavy metal toxicity in the soil and it gets into that into the vegetable sources, guess what happens? It's going to get into you as well in very, very high amounts. Okay, that happens to a lot of vegetarian proteins out there. Okay, I'm not going to name any names, but there's quite a few that have failed multiple tests on this, and they keep on saying, well, there's a whole difference between organic metals and inorganic metals. Dude, a heavy metal is a heavy metal. It will kill you. It will make you sick. Quit lying to the people. Seriously. Nothing gets me madder than that. Seriously. Someone comes to lying to people about that stuff. Seriously. Heavy metals, bad. Make sure if you're taking a vegetable source of anything, or even the vegetables you get, make sure that stuff is organic. Okay? If you're getting a vegetable protein, make sure not only is it organically sourced, but that thing is third-party tested, and ask to see the third-party testing on that, on the metal testing. All right? I'm talking about your life here. All right? Especially all the vegan vegetarians that want to be healthy and everything. Heavy metal will wreck your world. So there's that. Let's talk about pills, powders, patches, drinks, all that fun stuff. Sorry, you probably hear all this stuff going on in the gym. Don't worry, we'll be in there later on. We got people in there doing this. So, okay, so pills, powders, protein patches, drinks, all that stuff. So let's talk about, you've probably seen it. I'm not going to name the company, but there's a video going around. You've seen it on Facebook already. With them just hating on whey protein, saying it's a waste product, it's horrible stuff, it's going to mess you up, it's going to cause bloating, and yeah. Well, they're right and they're really wrong. Okay? Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, we're back. Cool. Sorry. So happens live. All your milk proteins. So making cheese, because cheese is all casein protein. Okay, it's really hard to compact. Okay, we're back. Sorry, interferences, satellites and stuff. I don't know. Russia's hacking me. Russian. So okay. Both of them are good for different reasons, okay? If you need to put on some weight, casein protein is going to help you put on some weight. Why? Because it does have a little bit of inflammatory factor there, which you need that for putting on muscle and weight. You do, all right? Whey protein, on the other hand, is very alkalizing, okay? Reduces inflammation, okay? It goes in your system very, very quickly. But the problem, the great thing with that, which we talked about with this workout thing, is it gets in like that, but it's gone in like an hour, okay? You've already digested it, you're done. Casein, it takes about 3 to 4 hours to digest it, okay? So we have that. You got concentrate, isolate, hydrolysate, which is broken all the way down to nothing, and pre-digested, right? Yeah, as we go along today. Sorry. I'm like a preacher going today. All right, so bring that back up. Thank you. Okay, so we have that. Anyway, both good at their